Live. Broadcasting live on the Double Wide Network. It's time for The Real Deal. Join the Ambassador and Mark Yellowhorse as they put together great guests and honest commentary on a range of issues. One of their main topics will be preserving Native American tributes in sports team nicknames. These two are also avid fans of music and the arts, and they'll always make time for a great song or two. Now, it's time for The Real Deal. And here are your hosts, the Ambassador and Mark Yellowhorse.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to The Real Deal on the Star Worldwide Networks in the Camelback Towers in beautiful downtown Scottsdale, Arizona. I hope everybody is having a good week. Looking forward to Thanksgiving tomorrow, and so we're going to have a good lineup tonight around the country, and then we got a few things we want to talk about that occurred over the past couple of weeks. That I want to share with our listeners. And as always, I want to thank the teams, the Kansas City Chiefs, Washington Redskins, Golden State Warriors, Atlanta Braves, Cleveland Indians, and the Chicago Blackhawks for listening and honoring Native Americans by using the names. Just remember what I said. They're coming after you. They got Adidas in the fight now. This is going to be a big one. All the teams, Washington Redskins, first year next, and united we stand and divided we fall. You can ignore reality, but ladies and gentlemen, you cannot ignore the consequences of reality. And with that, I'd like to thank everybody at the Native American Guardians Association for all the hard work that everyone has put into saving the names. Eunice Davidson, Mark Yellowhorse, Andre Bilodeau, and myself, Dennis Yellowhorse. I want to introduce my Navajo brothers and sisters, as I always do. Yat Shedene, Nahadanin Ambassador Dennis Yellowhorse and Shehadish Banana. Akwetzalah 505 Redskins. Akwetzalah Flagstaff Redskins. Thank you for listening. Akyehe Dan Snyder Gatekeeper Jene. Halbritter Klinkpapit Jene. Viva Yaqui Nation. Muchas gracias, mi amigos, on the Arizona border. The Yaqui Native Americans in Mexico and in southern Arizona. A week and a half ago, Mark Yellowhorse and I and Whitney Applegate went to Washington, D.C., and we wanted to attend a Washington Redskins game. And I'd never been to FedEx Field, and I don't think Mark has either. And so we went, and it was quite an experience. I got to tell you, the loyalty, the history, the tradition, the fight song for old D.C., the flags. I was totally impressed, and it takes a hell of a lot to impress the ambassador, I can tell you that. And when you were going into the stadium, all of these people of all different nationalities were wearing Redskins gear. I mean, when they say that the Washington Redskins sell more merchandise than any NFL team, I tell you, I believe it. There's no doubt in my mind, I believe that. And it was just the fan base is electric. And you want to know something? Every Native American should see a Redskins game. I'm serious. This should be on your do list. You should go see a Redskins game. And I'll tell you what, when you walk away with that, from seeing that game, you will appreciate the teams that honor you. After seeing this month after month, year after year, I don't blame Dan Snyder for not changing the name. I wouldn't either. We looked for the mascot, and this is interesting. I looked for that mascot. I looked under the bleachers. I looked on top of the roof. I looked in the team store. I went everywhere asking, where in the hell is this mascot? That these name changers keep saying there's a mascot. The Redskins got a mascot. It's got to go. It's got to go. It's got to go. Got to get rid of that mascot. We're not your mascot. And I looked high and low. And I finally went and found the East Tunnel. And there was a guy there, and he was the director of security for FedEx Field. His name was Willie. And I said, Willie, I says, that mascot's down in the tunnel, right? And he says, no, we don't have a mascot. And I says, come on, man. You're BSing me. Where's the mascot? He says, Ambassador, he says, I've listened to your show, and I like your show, but I got to tell you straight out, we don't have a mascot. And I looked and I thought, what the hell? We flew almost 3,000 miles to find out there is no mascot. What a bunch of damn liars these name changers are. I mean, we're flying over there, and there's no mascot? And we just shook our heads, and we just slowly walked back up to the stadium, and Mark and I and Whitney were kind of down in the dumps, and then I looked at him, and I slapped him on the back, and I says, hell, look at the bright side. At least we got cheerleaders. So we went and hung out with the cheerleaders. But anyway, so that was that. It was a great game. The Redskins smoked what is it? The team in New Orleans? They're Saints.
Saints.
Yeah, they played the Saints. Thank you, Kyle. Oh, Kyle's here.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, thank God Kyle's here. No, it was the Saints. Yeah, it was the New Orleans Saints. And poor Andre, he's a fan of Andre Bilodeau. He's a fan of the New Orleans Saints, so he had to take it both sides. But either way, one team won, one team lost. Then I had the privilege to go with a friend of mine to the Baja 1000 last weekend. The Baja 1000 is this dirt race with motorcycles and cars and trucks, and it's 1,000 miles, and it starts in Ensenadas, Mexico, which is just south of Tijuana, and it goes all the way down to Baja, and then it comes all the way back up around. And I went with some dear friends of mine, John and Sue Graves, Graves Racing Team and Graves Propane. They're the largest independent propane dealer in Arizona. And they took me down there, and that was really quite an experience. I'd never been. And, we're going down dirt roads, and we got chase vehicles, and there's helicopters flying around. And it starts on a Friday morning, and it ends on a Saturday night. And so his home is over in San Felipe, which is on the Cia Cortez side of the Baja. And then we had a place over in Ensenadas that we stayed. But it was quite interesting. And I mean, there's people there from all over the world that go to this thing. Have you ever been, Kyle?
No, I haven't. I have never been there.
Yeah. Well, they said there's a documentary called Dust to Glory.
Dust to Glory. I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to get it. They said you should get it because it's all about the Baja 1000. And what's interesting too is there's no prize money.
Mm.
You just run it to run it.
Yeah,
and if you finish, that's a big deal. That's a real big deal if you finish. And if you happen to win it, that's a really big deal.
Yeah.
Because these cars and these motorcycles are flying over these dirt roads and these bumps 100 mile an hour, and I mean they're just whizzing by you. And geez, I tell you, by the time I got home Sunday, I felt like I run the Baja 1000. My God,
there you go.
It was interesting. I mean, I'm glad I did it, and I'd never done anything like that before. And John and Sue Graves have been friends of mine for many, many years. And they said, Ambassador, it's time you get out of this house and start doing some things. And I said, okay. So I did that, and I was glad I did it, and it was all good. I want to also thank all of our listeners all over the country, coast to coast. We're making new friends all the time. I really miss my friends at Lancaster, and I miss my friends at Neshaminy and Wilmington, Delaware, and Goshen. I know we haven't talked in a while, but I haven't forgot you, and I'll always be here for you. And so I'm going to try to get you on the air, but this thing is just kind of taken a direction for the real deal where we just go wherever the fight is, and sometimes it's in California. Lately, it's in California. It's been up in Canada. It's all over the place, but we just go where we have to go and do what we have to do. But and we still don't have any sponsors. I'm running this thing solo. We're up against billionaires, and I mean serious billionaires now, with Adidas in the fight. And then you got these phonies like Hal Britter that are all in, and they just bully and push people around, and people say, well, we need a new Annenberg poll, and you know what? You could have 25 Annenberg polls that show that 90% of Native Americans are defended. They don't care. They don't give a damn. who's offended. It's all about them. It's to them. They're on a quest, and it's to shove it down our throat. And they're on it. They got the media behind them, and they're out to win it. And they're just going to shove it down our throat. And they don't give a damn what we say, what we can do. And pretty soon they're paying to get the schools to take away their names, paying off politicians, and they will continue to do that. So what we have to do. Oh, and there's one of the other things I wanted to mention too. There's going to be a protest in Dallas in December. It's the game where the Redskins play the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas in December. And they're and Black Horse is rounding up the troops. We're going to have the biggest protest of all time, and we're not your mascot. We're not your chief. We're not your cowboy, blah, blah, blah. So I'm urging everybody to go down there and get in front of them. We got to take the fight to them now. We got to get right in their face, and we don't have to get violent, but we got to get vocal. And we got to tell them that we're not going to put up with their BS anymore. So, and I don't care what team you stand for. I don't care if you're a Cowboys fan. I don't care if you're for the Redskins or the Steelers or the Braves or what. I don't care what team you're for. It's just the right thing to do. So I'm urging all of our Cowboys friends and our Redskins supporters, as well as any other supporter in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, to go out there, confront these name changers, and let them know we know what they're up to. It's a phony civil rights movement, and it's all about them. And they could give a damn about Native Americans, and we got to get vocal, and we got to get right in their face, and we got to start pushing back. We got to start pushing back really, really hard. We got to take the gloves off. We got to let them know we're not going to take this bullshit anymore. And so that's what we have to do, and that's what I'm urging all of our listeners to do, and I will continue to do that via our Facebook page, which is The Real Deal on Facebook. We posted a video up there that's going viral. And I want you all to watch that. And it's about Adidas and their connection to the Third Reich and Hitler. So I think you'll enjoy that. And then I also want to pay tribute to the American Indian Center of the Great Plains, Johnny Lerner, my business associate and partner at the Great Plains. And he's listening tonight, and thank him for listening and everybody up there, because that's going to be a very vocal point for our organizations, because it's right in the center of the United States, and it can draw from Native American nations all over, north, south, east, and west. So with that being said, I think we're going to go to our first guest. So we're going to take a quick flight on the Real Deal Airlines, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to fly up to Atlanta, Georgia this afternoon. And so with that being said, Kyle, tell the pilot to light the fires and kick the tires.
Here we go.
Well, I tell you, I love my Real Deal Airlines. Don't you, Kyle?
It's nice and fast.
Supersonic. We didn't even have time for a drink. Anyway, we're in Atlanta, Georgia, and we're going to be visiting with Andre Bilodeau, who's with the Native American Guardians Association. He's a historian. He's a veteran. And he's also wrote the book, How the Redskins Got Their Name. Andre, are you there?
Yatta hey, Ambassador. Kyle, how are you?
We're doing good. We're rocking and rolling at Radio Free Scottsdale, buddy.
Right on. Welcome to Atlanta, GA. It's a beautiful city.
Absolutely, absolutely. Tell me a little bit about why you're down there, a little bit about the family, Thanksgiving, and then let's get into some serious stuff that you've uncovered in California.
Well, yeah, thanks. Anybody who knows anything about Native American history knows that Atlanta, especially northern Georgia specifically, is home to the Cherokee Nation, the original Cherokee Nation, and their capital, New Echota, established in 1825. Also nearby are the Etowah burial mounds, the ancient civilizations here. They built that over hundreds of years, and a very ceremonial, very spiritual area that we've done some field research in. And this week we're doing some work around New Echota. Going to go ahead and visit the sites there and kind of get to know the Cherokee Nation as you know, President Andrew Jackson, who's on our $20 bill, is known as our Trail of Tears president for sending them from their very specific defined nation where they had their own newspapers, their own alphabet, their own history, culture. They were a very vibrant tribe here in Georgia, and sent them on the Trail of Tears to out in Oklahoma. During, that very terrible time in the United States, Jackson, who was the first Democrat president, was called in the media as he went against the Supreme Court, who supported the Cherokee Nation. They called him a jackass in the newspaper, and he took that term to heart. He said, okay, I'm a jackass, but I'm going to do this anyway. Well, that's how the Democrat Party got their donkey.
Really?
Kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But we talk about Redskins and this and that. I think the spirit of this country needs to really turn its attention to changing the $20 bill and maybe put Sitting Bull on the 20 or some other Native American icon instead of Andrew Jackson.
Right.
Yeah, kind of crazy, isn't it?
That is. It's very interesting.
So what we were talking about is in California with the Adidas issue. My goodness, Adidas, a German company worth $17 billion, trying to jump in and resurrect their North American market. Fortune magazine had a nice feature on them in January of this year that showed how bad they were doing in North America. So they're kind of desperate right now to really make a foothold in North America. So it seems what they did is they went ahead and partnered on this bandwagon of Native American tribute names where they think it's racist, and got in with the Obama administration earlier this month and announced that they'd help pay schools to eradicate their Native American tribute name. Can you believe that?
That's incredible.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you, so a little bit of research later, we find out through the website called influenceexplorer.com, we find out that Adidas has been paying off California state legislators leading up to the AB 30 vote by the governor up there, Governor Jerry Brown,
right,
which outlawed the term redskin for use at the high school level. But well before that, it's just fascinating to see that Adidas, an international company who wants to go ahead and make a name for themselves by essentially getting rid of names of schools that they consider insensitive, when in fact Adi Adidas himself, his name is Adolf Adi Adidas, it was a Nazi shoemaker. Unbelievable. Worked with the Third Reich.
Right.
And yet their name intact. And that's just the height of hypocrisy and irony that they would partner with the Obama administration trying to do away with 2,000 proud Native American schools that have the icons of Native Americans.
Right.
It's really unbelievable. But if you look at the funds that they spent, they donated, of their top 7 people who they donated to, 4 of those are California state legislators. And if you just kind of look at one of them, let's say Democrat Ron Calderon, he's got 24 felony charges under investigation by the FBI. Can you imagine Adidas as a corporation partnering with this kind of person and pushing away and rolling back Native American names in the U.S. school system? And they find guys like Ron Calderon, who's got a history with the FBI, to do the dirty work? What are they thinking?
Right, right. Well, this is the kind of thing that we share here at The Real Deal with people like yourself and everybody else, and hope somebody listening will say, hey, this isn't right. This is illegal.
Well, I tell you what, and again, shame on Adidas for not even doing their homework. I mean, as far as a public relations disaster, not since Coke tried to invent new Coke and then had to take it back, have I seen any company here in North America trying to make such a stupid move. It's just amazing. It's blown away. I mean, they're on board now. Officially, call them good. They're on board with decolonization, and I'm sure most of our listeners remember. The core element behind this movement is decolonization, where the radicals are trying to remove any element of any Native American school name, mountain, road, city, state, you name it, island that has anything to do with Native American iconography away from what they call the settler class. And this is the core of the issue. It doesn't matter what logic, what history, how much honor is bestowed upon a name. In their world, it doesn't belong to anybody who's not specifically Native American. So it doesn't matter what kind of story is behind it. But you can paint Adidas officially as a decolonization advocate. There they are.
Right.
It's just amazing. So.
Yeah, that's.
But I saw on the Real Deal you posted that pretty funny, pretty good video of what is it, Adolf Hitler?
Yeah.
Kind of calling to task the.
Yeah. Everybody needs to go. Everybody needs to go to the Real Deal Facebook page and see the video of Adolf Hitler going overboard, pissed off because the Adidas campaign has failed because we're exposing him.
It's amazing. That's pretty funny. That's good stuff.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, that's funny as hell.
As far as it is intriguing, and as I said, the influenceexplorer.com, and it's interesting that they openly advertise Adidas contributions to these California legislators in 1 week before they went public with the Obama administration on November 3rd. That website went dark. They pulled all their information about Adidas. Amazing. But with some help with the Native American Guardians Association, from our high-end tech specialists, we were able to root up some older, a week-old cached image of the website, and that's how we found it. We actually worked backwards, and we found October 25th, 1 week before their announcement, there was a live site that was pulled down, and it's on that site. So we went ahead and sent the Real Deal Facebook site an image of that website so all your listeners can go ahead and check it out and see for themselves.
Thank you.
And it is fascinating that their number one recipient of funding is President Obama, number one. And then, within the top couple more, you've got state legislators in California, right in line with AB 30, that terrible legislation that outlaws Native American tribute names in the state of California. It's all circular. It's all connected. It's just amazing.
Yeah. They gave money to Alejo, and Halbritter was there too, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah. Well, there's Halbritter in the midst of everything as usual. I tell you, man, that guy, they're all connected. It's fascinating. It's truly fascinating.
It is. And then, when we were, a couple of weeks ago, we were doing some research, we found out that Puma is Adidas's brother. Right.
Yeah. When they split up right at the time of the war ended, and they were kind of upset with each other, but at least Puma got away from in the name of an animal, which isn't specifically traced back to the Nazi roots, whereas Addy, they call him Addy, named his shoes Adidas, which is. So, I mean, at least Puma kind of did the right thing and changed their name, but here's Adidas trying to get the great people of America to give up their honorifics of Native American names because he feels this shoe company feels it's insensitive. And I think that's complete hypocrisy. And as we've seen, people are launching these anti-Adidas efforts now. They're burning their shoes. It's amazing.
Right.
It's amazing.
This thing,
and good for them.
Yeah.
Good for them. And then in a 180, though, Nike offers the N7 series of shoes, which is a tribute to Native America, the Indian country, and good for Nike. And so I guess the promotion here is, if you want to make a difference, folks, go ahead and get rid of your Adidas and buy your Nike N7, because they actually contribute and they donate funds to Native American youth for sports programs and that kind of thing. So they're on the right track. I think Adidas is well on the wrong track and making things terrible for themselves, even worse than they have it now.
Well, this could turn into a PR nightmare for those guys.
I think it already has. I mean, again, have you seen that? I guess you have, that whole Nazi video with Adolf Hitler promoting it. It's comical. Hitler, I would say check it out. You guys did a good job posting that on your Facebook.
Yeah, Hitler's out there screaming, Adidas screwed it up. They screwed it up. How can we let them screw this up?
Oh, my goodness. Well, there you have the ambassador. And I guess, it's kind of funny. You didn't find, everybody's upset on the name change side about not your mascot. I know you looked far and wide for the mascot at the Redskins stadium, and you didn't find a mascot.
I didn't find anything. And I looked everywhere. I looked everywhere for that damn mascot. I was even trying to bribe these people, say, man, I'll give you $20 if you show me where the mascot is. And everybody just looked at me and said, sorry, Ambassador, we don't have a mascot.
There's no mascot.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. There it is.
Yep,
they can go ahead and stand down. They won. There's no mascot with the Redskins.
Yeah,
so
there's no mascot.
They're done.
Yeah. You know what, though? As I said earlier, these name changers, I bet you they've never even been to a Washington Redskins game.
I would think not. Not.
And you were there.
It's a rich experience.
Yeah, you were there, and it was a rich experience. And I was really glad you were there with your family. And Mark and I, Whitney, enjoyed it. But and I really mean it from all sincerity. I think every Native American should go see a Washington Redskins game because it'll really, when you walk away from that, you're going to feel very proud of what's going on to keep your name alive in the public mainstream. I know I was. It was very heartfelt and very eye-opening.
Yeah, I think you're right, Ambassador. To me, it's the most important public name, not only in America, but in the NFL. I mean, it represents kind of the pinnacle of tribute, and there is no more important living culture name than the Washington Redskins.
Right, and it's like we said there when we were watching the game. You said, well, the Chicago Bears. I mean, what's that? It's a bear, when you start comparing these names, what they mean, the Redskins definitely take a whole different level.
And if you think about it too, I mean, they are the initial setup of the team there in Boston when they got the team in 1932 and named the team in 1933. There were Native Americans on the team, and so they really put their namesake where their mouth was,
right.
And it did represent the finest athletes in North America on with the Boston Redskins at the time. And truly, there is no other NFL team, with the exception of probably the Green Bay Packers, who actually had some meat packers play football as well, that the team name reflects specifically members of the original team, and it goes back. The team, their colors and some of their players go back to Carlisle School, where the Native Americans,
right.
The Native American came from, and their colors or burgundy and gold reflect the Redskins colors today. So, a rich history, phenomenal history, and you can keep going back and back and back and finding out more and more about what Redskin warriors and the governance behind their tribes, their nations, what they gave to the early settlers, and the confluence of history that made our country great. How much this country owes to Native Americans through Boston, Massachusetts, where the Redskins are from. So much history happened there. The Red Men, if you look at Red Men,
right.
The earliest patriots, the country that gained independence from the British. They beat back the most powerful army in the world, in large part by the tactics and techniques they learned from the native warriors of the Upper East Coast, the Woodland warriors. And of course, we know many of them painted themselves red before battle, hence Redskin. But we owe a debt of gratitude, and to see that team under so much duress because of their name, it just goes to show you, that there's a lot of people just don't know or don't care about the value of the name and how much honor and integrity is behind the name. So
yeah, that's what it is. They don't care. They don't care. They're on a quest. Amazing. They're on a quest to kill us and wipe us out. And pretty soon, in 100 years, Native Americans will just be Americans. That's where it's all.
Completely gone.
Yeah,
correct.
Completely gone. And they put a whole new meaning to the word tailgate up there. And thank you for the tailgate party, by the way. That was very nice.
Our pleasure.
But when Mark and I and Whitney were driving in there, I mean, we had a pass to go into a certain parking lot, and they had one area where there was these big buses, and they were painted up with Redskins. They were buses just for their tailgate parties. And I was taking pictures of them, and I was trying to get over there and hand out cards, but I gave a lot of cards away about the real deal. So I'm sure we got a lot of listeners now, and thank you folks for listening and spread the word. But I've been to Cardinals games, I've been to Steelers games, I've been to Miami Dolphins, Denver Broncos, and I've never seen anything like I seen out there a couple weeks ago. I just never have. I mean,
it's a true celebration, and there's nothing like it. And thanks for that. We have something pretty special in D.C., and we need to protect it. And thank you for your efforts, Ambassador, and the show, and all the good work you guys have been doing. And just keep telling it like it is.
Well, we will. As long as I can stay on here, and if I get luck out and get a sponsor, then it's going to really be good. But I just got to keep going and keep spreading the word, because to me, it's not about me. It's all about Native Americans, my family, where I grew up, and I enjoy fighting the fight when I see somebody trying to hijack the Native American culture for their own personal gain. That's when I'm going to stand up and call them out, because I know what's right from wrong, and this is definitely wrong to do what they're doing. And now you got people like Adidas, this phony German Third Reich rejects.
Yeah.
That's
yeah. Well, I would ask all your listeners to make a difference. Adidas has an office in Portland, Oregon, where they're operating this campaign out of. Let them hear it. Let them hear what you're thinking. Make sure you buy Nike and let Adidas know. And I would say there's a very good. It's not only funny, but it's educational. A video that you post on the Real Deal Facebook website. So I encourage all your listeners to check it out and have a laugh, but learn a few things.
That's right. There's always something you can learn by a message. Somebody takes a message a little differently, but there's always something to be gained and something to be learned by listening to some different messages from some different points of view. But give them hell, Real Dealers. Get a hold of, buy Nike, the heck with Adidas, boycott them, burn them, do whatever you got to do, but make it known that we know what they're up to. And they're just part of a phony scam, and they're trying to use it, like Bally said, as a lever to get into the American school systems. And this is a poor way of doing it. They could, we're not a dictatorship, and they should lead, not tell us what we should do. They should take the lead and when they change their own name before they start talking about changing our name.
Roger that.
Yeah. How long are you going to be down there?
Well, we got a few glorious days down here. Probably head back to D.C. on Saturday. Like I said, in the meantime, we have some work to do at New Echota. Going to go up there and check out the Cherokee Nation, find out a little bit more about them, and just embellish that culture and share it with the Real Deal as soon as we come up with some more material for your wonderful listeners there, Ambassador.
Yeah, thank you so much. Be safe. Give the kids and the wife a hug for the Ambassador, and enjoy Thanksgiving. And I'll be talking to you next week, probably offline, but I'll get a hold of you, and we'll see where in the heck we're at. But with that being said, Andre, we can't thank you enough for being part of the Real Deal and part of Native American Guardians Association. Everybody enjoys working with you. We're all team players, and we're all here for a reason, and we all know what that reason is. So with that being said, I'll let you go, and you have a good one, okay, buddy?
You bet, Ambassador. Good night, and good night to Kyle.
Oh, good night. Okay, Kyle, we're going to be flying to Winter Rock, or flying actually to Gallup, New Mexico. We're going to skip Winter Rock. But before we leave, I just want to you know what the problem with these name changers is, Kyle?
You can't handle the truth.
We'll be right back.
If you're not the one for me, then how come I can bring you to your knees? If you're not the one for me, why do I hate the idea of being free? And if I'm not the one for you, you've got to stop holding me the way you If you're gonna let me down gently. Don't pretend that you don't want me. I'll love you water under the breeze. If you're gonna let me down gently. Don't pretend that you don't want me. I'll love you water under the breeze. Oh, 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 oh. Say that I'll love you water under the breeze. Oh, 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 oh. Say that I'll love you water under the breeze. Say that I'll love you water under the breeze.
All right. That was Adele with her latest hit, Water Under the Bridge. And I got a good ear for music, ladies and gentlemen. I can tell you that one's going to be a hit. So you follow that one. It's Water Under the Bridge by Adele, and she just released it. Okay, with that being said, we're in Gallup, New Mexico, and we're going to be putting on my next guest, and I'll tell you a little bio on him before we get him on. He was the former chief of staff for the Navajo Nation. He's been involved in Navajo politics and Navajo government for most of his life. His father and I were business partners many years ago. We owned a newspaper together, and that was quite interesting, the Navajo Nation Enquirer. And he has been a good friend and a supporter of myself and my family for many, many years. And he's come to my home here in Paradise Valley. In fact, we had Thanksgiving a couple years ago here. So with that being said, I'm going to introduce to you, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Deswood Tome. Deswood, are you there?
Dennis, good evening. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Doing very well, thank you.
Yeah, so did you listen to a little bit of our show?
I didn't get a chance to, but I'm definitely hooked in right now.
Okay, well, you can listen to it later. They're archived. So, Deswood, tell me a little bit about what you're doing now. Tell our audience a little bit about yourself. And we have the number one show in the country. And so tell our audience a little bit about who you are, what you do, and what you've been doing, and what you're going to do.
Well, Dennis, thank you. To start out with, you're right that I was in Navajo government up until May of this year earlier when President Ben Shelley stepped down as the new president came in. I decided that I would, as a political appointee and as his chief of staff, step down from office with him. And we had quite a bit that we accomplished during his one-year term. Prior to that, I served as the executive director of the Navajo Nation Telecommunication Regulatory Commission, where we went after a stimulus grant and built a massive fiber backbone on the Navajo Nation thanks to the U.S. Department of Commerce. And we did this in conjunction with several people, including the tribe's utility service, but we also reached out to the Hopis and brought them on board, a neighboring tribe of ours, and that was extraordinary. Prior to that, I was serving in Washington, D.C., doing appropriations for the Navajo Nation. Out of the 12 annual spending bills, the Navajo Nation monitors 7 of those bills because the Navajo Nation gets money from about 7 of the bills that are passed by Congress every year.
Right.
And as for what I'm doing right now, I am doing various project work. I'm out of government. I hope to stay out of government, get into the private sector, but I am having fun, Dennis.
Oh, good. Well, you always got a place to stay when you're in Phoenix or Scottsdale.
Thank you.
Yep, always. I've told you about my show and what I'm doing, and the Redskins and the Chiefs and the Braves and all the schools, or not schools, all the sports teams that honor Native Americans. And you're along the same lines as me. Tell everybody, when you used to get confronted, like when Ben Shelley was sitting with Dan Snyder on October 12th of last year. at the Phoenix Stadium here in Phoenix when the Cardinals played the Redskins. You were there, and it was appropriately very well done, and nobody forced anybody to do anything. And Ben Shelley, God bless him. I mean, he just called it out as it is, man. And so why don't you talk a little bit about that? You know, how it got started and where it went and what the name changers tried to do to sabotage any relations between the Navajo Nation and the Washington Redskins.
The Washington Redskins came to the Navajo Nation in Window Rock and really formulated a great relationship with the leadership there. And as a result of that, the Redskins opened up an opportunity for one of the Navajo Nation's enterprise known as Navajo Arts and Crafts Enterprise, to where they went into a franchising agreement that's worth quite a bit of money.
Absolutely.
And even to this day, the Navajo Arts and Crafts Enterprise is still in this relationship with the Washington Redskins, with Dan Snyder. And the whole ideal of it was, let's make opportunity, let's take opportunity and bring jobs and let's bring gross revenue receipts to Navajos. Navajo artisans, Navajo craftsmen, rug makers, different folks that do different kinds of craft, and let's market that craft out into the mainstream area where the Washington Redskins has access to. And that was the whole ideal, to let's create opportunity together, and that's exactly what happened. And we're grateful today that is still happening. I know Thanksgiving's tomorrow, and let's be grateful for that. And I always thank Dan Snyder and Carl Schreiber, and who we still enjoy a great relationship to this day. I know they're still struggling with the name change and everything, but one thing we've always maintained is that changing the name is not going to bring one job to the Navajo Nation.
Right.
And people on the Navajo Nation are really not concerned about the name change at all. Most of the people that are in the urban areas, that they have little to do, and they're the ones that are concerned, and they're the ones that are making a lot of the noise.
Right. Yeah. That's what it is, folks. You know, that when you come out to Indian country around the United States, and I don't care if you're in the Midwest or up in Montana or Navajo, the Native Americans appreciate these names, and they look at you and they tell you, well, what about these name changers? They say we should change it, and they look them right in the eye and say, they don't speak for me. You read my lips. They do not speak for me, and that's the message that resonates here. So you got these people like Black Horse and these phony actors like Hal Britter that are out there pushing their own agenda for their own cause, and now they got Adidas with them. So it's just a total civil rights scam, phony civil rights scam, and it's civil and ethnic cleansing. Cultural genocide is the way I call it. And people say, oh, no, really. I said, hey, look, this is what they did in Germany and Czechoslovakia. They went in, burned the books, and killed millions of Jews and Czechs, and wanted them to just disseminate, get rid of them, and we're going to do a cleansing, and this is what's going on with Native Americans, and I really truly believe that, Deswood.
Mm-hmm. You know, if you look at it, Navajo people are very drawn into athleticism because it's competition. Navajo people are very much warriors, and Navajo people rally around sports. If you look at what brings Navajo people together, I've watched it over the years. It's either music or sports, and music and sports have the ability to draw Navajo people together in a way that otherwise they would not come together. and you go out to the football games, you go to basketball games, you see a massive outpouring of Navajo people from all ranges of ages. And it's wonderful to see. It's wonderful even, if we're talking about mascot names, I think about the Red Mesa Redskins or the Window Rock Scouts or the Shiprock Chieftains or Tuba City Warriors. These are all schools, high schools located on the Navajo Nation, and they have these names, mascot names that the people in mainstream America take offense to, and yet here on Navajo Nation, it's not like that. So
right.
I don't understand what they're talking about. I don't understand, and one of the conversations I was having is that early on, when the Washington Redskins acquired that name, they looked to the Native Americans and said, we want to name our team after a very fierce group of people. And they thought about Indians, they thought about Native Americans, and that's how that started. And so I don't see where the offense is.
Right. You weren't on earlier because you couldn't pick up the website fast enough, but I'll show you how to do it offline here, and it'll be archived in about an hour. But on the first segment, a couple of weeks ago, I went to a Washington Redskins game, and I'd never been to one. Have you?
No, I've been in the stadium in D.C. a few times when I lived out there. Yeah,
well, I'd never been to the game, and it was electric. The fans, I mean, they were from all walks of life, all different nationalities, and they were wearing their Redskins gear. And I swear to God, it really opened my eyes. And they run around with the flags and singing their song, "Fight for Old DC." And how could anybody that would go to a game like that? And every Native American should do that. They should go to at least one game, and you would appreciate how much that loyal support and that fan base cares for Native Americans on that particular Sunday. It just blew me away. I was totally impressed, and I'd like to do it again sometime. But it was something to see, and I'll never forget it. But that's the thing. We got to start pushing back, Deswood, because these name changers, they ain't stopping. And, they don't care how many polls or how many schools. They don't care about Navajo. They don't give a damn about anything. It's all about them and their phony cause. And so they can get on CNN and they can get their 5 minutes of fame and they can get Adidas with them and throw some money here and there to Obama and everybody else. So to them, it's all about them. It's not, they could care less about what Native Americans think. So in my opinion, we got to start confronting these people and we got to start pushing back. And I mean pushing back real hard, get in their face, and start calling them out. And there's going to be a protest. Black Horse is having a big protest in the first week in December when the Cowboys play the Redskins in Dallas. So whoever's down there in that area, I'm telling them, and I'll be saying it on the show, I'll be saying it on Facebook, confront them. I don't care if you're a Cowboys fan or a Steelers fan, Arizona Cardinal fan, Redskins fan. Confront them. And I really mean that.
Yes, true, Dennis. And again, I think it's important to be reminded to ask these different groups how much revenue, how much opportunity, how many jobs is changing a name going to produce out in an affected area like the Navajo Nation, for instance. And that's very important to ask these folks that kind of question. Right.
Well, they run from that. When you try to throw those legitimate questions at them or you give them factual information, they don't want to hear that. They take off. That's the problem. They don't want to hear it. They just go the other way and say, "Oh, we have our own opinion. You have your opinion," and they just keep on going. And that's why it's a phony scam when you can't reason with anybody like that.
That's correct.
Yeah. Well, Deswood, so you're going to spend Thanksgiving in Window Rock or in Gallup?
No, I'm going to go out to the former president's home and then continue onward toward Albuquerque.
Oh, you're going to be with your family over there?
Yes, indeed.
Tell them I said hi, and tell the president.
I certainly will.
Tell the president I said hello, will you?
No, I certainly will. I'll let him know, and he's doing quite well, and he's into business, and he's even been thinking that he's probably going to run for the New Mexico House of Representatives or the New Mexico Senate next year in 2016.
Good. Tell him we'll support him.
I will.
Hey, is it cold in Gallup?
Right now the temperature is 53 degrees, and it's been getting cold. In Window Rock, it's been getting down as low as 15 degrees.
Right. Oh, I know. I got to go up there. I got to go to Santa Fe in a couple weeks.
So it's anticipated that there's going to be a good winter up here on Navajo land. We've been getting lots of rain over the summer, and already there's been 3 snowfalls.
Well, that's good. We need the moisture up there.
Indeed, we do.
Yep. So try to get down to see me here in Scottsdale.
No, I will. I'll make an effort to come down there before Christmas.
Okay. Well, the house is always open, and you're always welcome to stay.
Thank you, Dennis.
You bet. I'm gonna have. I'll text you. Well, I text you on how to get to the website starworldwidenetworks.com, and when you go there, you can download the free app on your phone, and you listen to your phone. But when you pull it up, you'll see you'll see double wide, and you'll see several apps, right, Kyle?
Yes, you'll see several channels, and the one the Real Deal is on is Star Worldwide AZ, and you'll find the Real Deal under that channel.
Yeah, you just scroll down and you see the Real Deal, and then this show will be up in about an hour.
Oh, within 30 minutes after.
Okay, and
ends.
Yeah, it'll be up, and we'll have a good title for it, and then so you can listen to yourself and let the president listen.
Okay, I certainly will, Dennis.
Okay.
I certainly will. It's been a joy being on your show, and perhaps in the future we can do it again.
Oh, we will. And if you come down here between Christmas and New Year, or somewhere over the holidays, try to come on a Wednesday, and I'll have you sitting right here in the studio with me.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, it's just not far from the house.
Okay.
Okay, buddy?
I will. I certainly, and good evening to you and your staff. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there.
Okay, thank you, Desmond.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, that was my dear friend Desmond Tome. I thought you like what he had to say, Kyle?
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a very well thought out guy,
Mm-hmm.
and I've known him since he was a kid, and knew his dad real well, and he's a very good guy, and his heart's in the right place, and he knows this is just a BS scam, and that's why he come on to say it, and we'll have him on the show more often. Hopefully, we'll get him down here, and
I look forward to that.
We'll have him sit and co-pilot with me here, but no, that's all good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming up to the end here. I thought we had a good run. I thought we had a good show, don't you, Kyle?
Yeah, great show, great guest.
Yeah, great guest always, Andre and Deswood. So with that being said, I just want to reinforce what I've been saying all along. I've been running this show solo. I could really, really use some financial help, and I don't care what it is, just to keep us going. Because we have no sponsors. We got, and these other guys got billionaires behind them, and I'm down here winging it on my own. And so anything you guys can think of to help us keep us going, you can go to www.yellowhorse.us or yellowhorse.industries.com. One of the phone numbers is 602-540-3000, and that goes to me, but we can talk about donations or anything you would want to do to try to keep the Real Deal going. So I guess with that being said, I want to say from the Native American Guardians Association, the Real Deal, Yellow Horse Companies, UMAID International, Star Worldwide Networks, we want to wish you and your family a beautiful and safe Thanksgiving, and I look forward to seeing you next week. So be safe, and we'll see you on the radio. And Kyle, why don't you just tell everybody? This is the number one show. Star Worldwide's the number one internet radio station in the country. What's the number one show?
That would be the Real Deal.
That's right. So, ladies and gentlemen, Kyle's going to tell you why the Ambassador's here every Wednesday night.
To kick ass and save names, Ambassador.
You got it.
Thank you for listening to The Real Deal. Tune in to The Real Deal with the Ambassador and Mark Yellowhorse every Wednesday at 5 p.m. and on demand 24/7 right here on Star Worldwide Networks.